Well, as we all emerge into the summer sunshine, it's important to enjoy the warm weather safely. Joining us this morning with a few things to be aware of is family physician Dr. Stephanie Liu, also known as Dr. Mom. Welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So first we're talking about heat rash. Does that come from the heat?
Yes, so that's absolutely true. So heat rash, also known as prickly heat, occurs when our sweat ducts get blocked and the sweat gets trapped under our skin. And that's when we get the red bumps or sometimes even blisters.
Okay.
And it can affect anyone of any age, but most commonly little ones. And the good news is, though, once our skin cools down, those rashes typically resolve.
Okay, so what's your advice for someone going through heat rash to get it away quickly?
Yeah, so making sure that you go into a cooler area. The other thing is tight-fitting, non-breathable clothes will precipitate heat rashes.
Okay.
So if you're out in the sun, making sure it's breathable and that it's not too tight.
Okay, now this is an interesting one. Is it true that some fruits make you more sensitive to the sun?
Yes, so that's absolutely true.
Huh.
So fruits like lemon and lime, when the juices of that go onto your skin and you go outside into the sunlight, it can cause a reaction known as phytophotodermatitis. And so why that happens is in those fruits, they contain a substance that reacts with the sunlight and it can cause red, itchy bumps, blisters, or even some darkening of the skin. And it actually happened to me and probably some other people out there when you're preparing food, citrus fruits, or having a margarita and that juice gets on your skin, you might notice the next day or so that you have a little rash in that distribution.
Interesting. Hadn't heard of that before. That is, yeah, citrus being a summer type fruit for sure. Now let's talk about the sunshine. A lot of people feel happy in the sunshine, but also say their kids kind of seem irritable. Is there a correlation there?
Yeah, so I'll say firsthand, my kids get really grumpy on really hot days, and that's for a few reasons. Sometimes during those hot streaks, it's really hard to fall asleep and maintain sleep when it's hot and uncomfortable. So one, when your child's not getting enough sleep, they're more likely to be grumpy. The next is kids aren't as good at regulating their temperature as adults, and that can increase their risk of getting overheated and also dehydration. And so both of those together can cause irritability, fatigue. And it's also important to note that if you do think that your child just seems really off, that you're aware of heat-related illness and also dehydration and check in with a healthcare provider.
Okay, interesting stuff. Now, migraines, does the heat in the summer make migraines worse?
So that's kind of true. So there's actually some studies out there that say on really hot weather can increase the frequency of migraines. And the thought behind that is when it's really hot, you're at increased risk of being dehydrated. And dehydration is a trigger for migraines. We also know on really hot days that can alter the blood flow in our brain and also alter the chemicals that are involved in the migraine process, which can increase the frequency of migraines. And lastly, on really hot days, there can be increased air pollution, which is another migraine trigger.
Okay, very interesting, especially because we have the smoke kind of in and out of the city right now. Dr. Mom, we always appreciate your advice. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, if you'd like to follow along and learn more, you can go to @by Dr. Mom. Find her on social media.